I'm Stuart Shepard. This is Stoplight. They should be the Freedom From Ourselves Foundation.
Do what?
Have you heard of the Freedom From Religion Foundation?
I think I have.
They spend a lot of money on ink and paper, sending threatening letters to local governments and schools. They want to get rid of any public expression of faith.
Which would explain why they're freedom from religion rather than freedom of religion.
Exactly. They're in court right now trying to get rid of the clergy housing allowance.
Which is?
If a church provides a house for a minister, he doesn't have to pay tax on what it would have cost him to pay rent. Other churches just give them a housing allowance that's separate from their paycheck.
So, it's a tax break for ministers.
Yep, but tax laws are tricky to challenge. In this case, the court said the tax break for them isn't hurting you, so you can't bring the challenge.
And that's the end of the story.
Nope. They went to the Freedom From Religion Board and had it designate a housing allowance for a couple of their leaders. They went back to court and basically said, see, we get a housing allowance, but since we don't believe in God, there's no way we'd qualify for an exemption.
Would they?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The government pointed out they had not actually applied for the tax break, and they decided that if they did, they would probably qualify.
Really?
Well, the government says that the tax break does not necessarily require a belief in a higher being. And because they're leaders of an organization that spends all of its time spreading a particular belief system, that in this very limited sense, they might just qualify as ministers of the religion of atheism.
So, the Freedom From Religion Foundation suddenly becomes the Freedom From Ourselves Foundation.
They'll need to send themselves a threatening letter.